Just prior to the beginning of the program, I commented to Colonel Flateau that I've been probably at every one of these meetings except perhaps one, and this is the first time I've had the opportunity to sit on this side of these tables. It is somewhat different. Colonel Flateau's immediate response was, just remember, you're in a room full of friends. And Colonel, as you leave, we thank you for being our friend in Onslow County and wish you Godspeed. A little later on. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to provide you with a report on the state of our home, Onslow County. Colin McEnroe once said that a person's home is their Disneyland, in the sense that there's a good deal going on behind the scenes by way of maintenance that they cannot even begin to guess at as they drift through the main attractions. Friends, in the time since the last State of the Community event, much maintenance has been done here around our Onslow home. Some people would vilify the county for the changes. Others would say that sweeping improvements are underway. When faced with such diversity of opinion, what must one do? I would submit to you that we simply try to do the right thing. Now, I've been criticized for that thought. How simple-minded, some said. Of course we try to do what's right, but friends, consistently knowing what the right thing or the correct thing to do in the complex and changing environment of county government is a singularly unique challenge. So how should we meet this challenge? I believe that the first step is to be data-driven, and another is to be mindful of challenges and opportunities. Let's talk briefly about each. To make good decisions, we must have data about our Onslow home. Here are a few key facts. We are young. Colonel Flateau just mentioned that most military families are young. In fact, we have the youngest median age of any county in the state, 24.74 years. Now, this has a direct impact on the types of services that county government must provide. We are also growing. Between 2000 and 2007, we were ranked as the only county in the state with extreme natural population increases with net in-migration. Between 2000 and 2008, Onslow's population grew at the rate of 17.1%. Over the past 5 years, Onslow has enrolled around 350 new students on average per year in the Onslow County public school system. We also have a strong economy compared to many others. Our unemployment, while still high, is most recent figure at 8.2% versus 11.2% for the state. This is lower than all but one of the state's 14 metropolitan statistical areas. Only Durham-Chapel Hill is lower. The sales tax generated here within the county continues to be strong, unlike our state-shared sales tax revenues, which are feeling the impact of a struggling economy. The Onslow County Home Builders Association reports that total new home sales in 2009 were up 213 over 2008. But the news on the housing front is, of course, not all good. The average sale price of a home fell by almost $4,500. We still have challenges. Right now, the average sale price for a home in Onslow County is around $168,600. The county receives around $994 in property taxes from that home. Last year, the county spent around $1,400 to support each student enrolled in our public school system. Residential development alone is not self-supporting. Unfortunately, almost 74% of all taxable property in Onslow County is residential property. The problem is exacerbated by the fact that 40.6% of the landmass of the county is exempt from property taxes. And of course, state-shared revenues are still in jeopardy. I remind you that the state of North Carolina had a budget shortfall in the billions of dollars. They partially filled that gap with federal stimulus money. The stimulus money is currently set to expire in one more year. What then? By February 15, 2010, the State Office of Budget and Management has directed that all state departments shall outline a plan to cut 3%, 5%, and 7% off their departmental budgets. And next year, we ask ourselves, is that the year that the state must say to counties, to Onslow County, go and buy your first motor grader? You're now responsible for the 643 miles of secondary roads in Onslow County. What other cuts or shifts in responsibilities will be necessary as the state faces its own budget crises? Friends, we don't know. This is why we must capitalize on the few opportunities, the few certainties which remain available to us. In closing, I leave you with three. Last year, the county, facing these austere times, instituted the most sweeping reductions in county government ever seen. The opportunity still before us is to look carefully at our organization and craft new program and service models which meet the needs of our changing and growing community. And in this growing community, we must do our part to ensure that every person who resides in Onslow County is counted in Onslow County as part of the 2010 census. This is important for our state and federal representation, as well as for millions of dollars in state and federal revenue, which are tied to population counts. Following the census count is another critical tabulation, the tally of votes for the 1/4 of 1 penny local option sales tax. Pending Department of Justice approval, during the primary election, our citizens will have the opportunity to vote on the sales tax. In the past 2 elections, the funds were not earmarked. Citizens said, "Put it in writing. What is it for?" Today I can tell you that it is in writing. Revenues will be used for public safety, public education, and a rollback of property taxes. Prior to a public education campaign, those items will be further detailed. Public safety and public education are both mandated and are certainly essential to the continued well-being of our home community. The rollback of taxes is an effort to provide relief to our taxpayers. I don't know if anyone particularly likes taxes, but I'm reminded that Franklin Roosevelt said, "Taxes, after all, are the dues that we pay for the privilege of membership in an organized society." It is incumbent upon public servants to analyze the data and make sure that we attempt to do the right thing, the correct thing, when seeking to provide services to our changing and growing home. Friends, if you consider Onslow your home as I do, if you're proud of this community of heroes, the place where you work, where you play, where we bury our loved ones, our friends, and where we raise our children, if you recognize that the time that you spend here is precious, I challenge you, get the facts, become aware of our challenges, but most importantly, help us to grasp the opportunities. May God give us wisdom to know what is right, and may God continue to bless and protect Onslow County and her sons and daughters that are both here and abroad. Thank you.